Here is some information on how to fill out the middle school paperwork packet for Massachusetts Science and Engineering Fair students, grades 6 through 8. So you can download this paperwork packet in a number of different locations, including mams.zfairs.com. This is where you will go to create an account, submit your paperwork for approval so you can participate in the fair. So this paperwork packet is multiple pages. This includes the paperwork that's needed for all student projects at the middle school level. And there's only one packet that's needed if you're an individual student, a team of 2, or a team of 3. It's all in the same packet. So it gives you the list of the forms that are included in the packet. All students need to fill out Form 1A and Form 1B. Some students will need to fill out Form C if it includes human subjects, or Form D if they require a designated supervisor because of the types of projects it is. So I'll show that in a little bit. This goes through the adults that you will be working with as a student. So most students, the teacher and the adult sponsor are the same person, but not always. There's also a parent or guardian who needs to approve your project. And then again, some projects might need a designated supervisor, which could be a parent, it could be a teacher. Basically, that's the person who signs off and says, I'm paying attention to what you're doing. The ethics statement and information can be found here. Everyone needs to review that so that you know the rules of project work so that it is independent student work. So on this page here, you can also check off if your project has human subjects, if vertebrate animals, hazardous things, by harmful things. You can check these boxes. You can check that your project doesn't involve any of those. These are instructions again for downloading. I wanted to show on the deadlines piece. So all paperwork needs to be marked ready for review 1 month before the regional fair date, depending on when your regional fair is. But we ask you to think ahead. You want to think about, when do you need approval for your project? When are you going to be doing experimentation? Students and teachers should decide together on what that deadline would be. And you can type in that deadline here. I'm just going to say December 6th. So some projects will need approval before they begin experimentation. And if you're not sure, just reach out, let us know what you're planning on doing, and we'll let you know. And then in the ZFairs platforms, teachers do need to click the Mark Ready button in the ZFairs dashboard for each project once the paperwork is ready. So this is the Form 1A. There's one form for each student. So team projects will have multiple forms of these filled out. So if it's just an individual project or a lead team member, this is where you're going to write that information. There's links to both the ethics statement, as I said, and the required releases, which the parent or guardian needs to review. And so each person on this will need to go through and check these boxes. If you're able to sign digitally, feel free to do that. Otherwise, you can print this out, scan it, and upload it. Just make sure it's legible. So you can, again, go through, you can click these boxes and have folks sign it so that we know it's been reviewed. Again, your teacher and your adult sponsor may be the same person. It may be parent is also overlapped. So there may be the same person signing in multiple places, but this shows the role that each of those adults have. So here's a second Form 1A if you need that for a second team member, and a third 1A if you need that for a third team member. Now the research plan is in what we call Form 1B for middle school. There's one of these per team. You only need to fill out one, but it's 2 pages. So again, you're going to put your name or names if it's a team project. Come up with a project title that describes your work. You can change it later if needed. You're going to put your adult sponsor or your teacher, their phone number, and their email. If you need more room than what you can fill out on this form, feel free to use additional pages and you can upload them at the same time. So you're going to put information about the question you're addressing or the problem you'll solve, your hypothesis or your statement of goals, and your materials and diagram of setup. Here is a list again of the things that are not allowed at the middle school level. So make sure that when you're thinking of your material list that you're not hitting any of those boxes of things that are not allowed at the middle school. level and let us know if there's questions. And then you're going to put your methods or procedures. So think about this as writing a recipe. If you were to give me your methods and procedures, could I copy what you did just based on what you've written? You want to make sure there's at least 5 steps, but it might be longer. Again, you can add additional paperwork if you need to. On this page, we're asking if your project involves any risks. So this could be something like tool use, cooking, baking, having someone do a repetitive motion, some sort of exercise. There might be a base level of risk that we just want you to think about whether or not there should be any extra protections. If there really isn't, then you can put no risks. In some cases, some projects might require additional supervision, in which case they're going to need a Form D as well. But really think about what your project might need and put that in this note, because that lets us know you really thought about potential risks. This could be collecting water outside in a wild area. It could be, again, having users test a device that you've created. So just think through that. If your project is a continuation of a project that you or members of your team did a previous year, we ask you to let us know that. So you're going to either hit yes or no. If it is a continuation, it does need to involve different methods, materials, questions, or designs, and we ask you to explain how they're different here. Also, if you worked with any adults, mentors, advisors, parents other than your teacher, to help support your project, you can let us know. It's okay if you did, but we want to understand what you did independently versus collaboratively. So if you did work with someone, explain their expertise, explain what you did. Remember, science fair projects need to be student-led and student-driven. If your project involves human subjects, you're going to fill out Form C, and this could be behavioral studies, or if a human is testing a device or material. And these are projects that need to be approved before you do your experiment. If your project involves potentially hazardous materials or activities, you're going to fill out Form D, and that's where you're going to discuss more detail about the safety precautions and supervision. And if you answered number 6 or 7 up here, again, continuation, or if you worked with an adult, we're going to want to make sure that you print a copy of your research plan if you're at the fair, because you want to be able to show that to judges. So for Form C, this is for human subjects. If you did not use human subjects, just leave it blank. So in this form, you're going to fill out more information about what you're planning on doing, how you're going to be protecting people, and what that risk is. They're going to sign, the adult sponsor is going to sign, and this is what you upload. Once approved, when you're doing your experiment, the human subjects are going to fill out, you're going to want to print multiple copies of this form, and your human subjects are going to check the boxes and fill this out, and you're going to bring a copy of those forms that have been signed to the fair. There are some opportunities to do this digitally, so please let us know if you want to do that digitally instead. Form D, again, this is the risk assessment and mitigation. This is if you need a supervisor for your project. So you're going to fill out the information, who is your supervisor, if they're a teacher, if they're a parent guardian, or if they're a STEM professional. Describe how that person needs to describe what their responsibilities are in supervising you, what precautions were taken, disposal procedures, etc. And then sign off on that, and that they need to say that they've been trained in the techniques that you're using. So that is it for the forms. You are going to then upload it back into your portal. Again, you can fill these out all electronically, or you can print them out by hand. If you need to attach more information for the research plan or any other documentation, you can merge documents, PDFs together, and include that, or you can upload it as an extra document in your dashboard. So let us know if you have any questions, and we are excited to review your project. Thanks.